Today we talk about giving back to our community. Shannon Clancy from St. Vincent de Paul joins us. Welcome to the Mike Broomhead Show.
Well, I got a message, I got a song. Can I get a witness? Tell me what's going on. I show the people I've been away.
You know, one of my favorite groups in the Valley is St. Vincent de Paul. They do such great work all over the Valley. You're going to get some information that's going to blow you away. We talk with them here in just a few moments. We start off every show the same way. We call it The Sweep. It's sponsored by my good friends at Zero Res Carpet and Tile Cleaning. The transition team for President-elect Trump. I just can't believe, I still can't believe we're saying President-elect Donald Trump, but he will be the President of the United States. Mike Pence now taking over the transition team, and here's what he's doing. Mike Pence is doing what really people have been saying is a great idea. Donald Trump sat down with 60 Minutes and did an interview, and they talked about lobbyists and that he didn't want lobbyists, and they made the connection. You've got lobbyists on your transition team. Mike Pence is getting rid of the lobbyists, and now Donald Trump is saying, here is the promise he's making. Anybody that comes to work for them has to give up their lobbyist registration, and they've got to promise, they've got to sign a contract that they will not sign up to be a lobbyist again for 5 years after they leave the government. I don't care what party you're in. No party seems to like lobbyists that close to the president. I have no problem with lobbyists. They do a service in our community. They are good people. But this kind of a promise assures lack of politicians in that cabinet. That's a great idea, I think. They are saying Rudy Giuliani, not going to be the Attorney General, has the inside track to being Secretary of State, except his overseas business dealings may preclude him from that. In that case, we don't know if it's going to be Jeff Sessions or who it might be. Everything's still up in the air. They say we may not hear cabinet appointments until possibly next week. Some names in Arizona that have been thrown around. Joe Arpaio, possibly for Homeland Security. He's got the experience, for sure, but there's some baggage with Joe Arpaio with the legal troubles that are going on now. Plus, his age may be a factor, but his name is on the short list. Our former governor, Jan Brewer, for Secretary of the Interior, overseeing the Parks Department and the Bureau of Land Management. Wouldn't it be great for someone with the experience in Arizona, with the wildfires we have, to be able to set that department straight? Now, whether or not she's going to get the job or take the job, we don't know. Her name is on the short list. The chief strategist is Steve Bannon. He used to run Breitbart. There's accusations that he was anti-Semitic. Well, first of all, you got to slow down with that. The accusation was made by his ex-wife during a custody hearing that said, he said he didn't want his children around Jews. Now, you can't take that with a grain of salt, because you know in a divorce proceeding, especially a custody hearing, things get said. He denied it from the very beginning. Now, we do know the White House Chief of Staff is going to be the former head of the RNC, Reince Priebus. So that is already solidified. But that right now is as much as we know about the transition team for Donald Trump. One of the big stories that came out at the beginning of the week on Monday was a shooting in Southwest Florida. Now, it ran a cold shiver down my spine because it was Lee County. That is my hometown. And it happened in what's called the South District of the Sheriff's Department. That's where my brother works. My brother is a commander there. I didn't know if he was involved. I had no idea. So it really scared me. It turns out that a Good Samaritan drove by and saw that a police officer had been attacked. I had the sheriff, his name was Mike Scott, on with me. This guy was in what they called like an MMA-style mount and was just pummeling this police officer. A bystander saw that with a concealed carry permit, threatened the attacker to stop it or he was going to get shot. The attacker didn't, so he shot and killed the attacker. What added another level of this is it was an African-American perpetrator, and it was an African-American gentleman that shot and killed him and defended a white police officer. Says a lot about police relations in our community. And a former NFL player named Roddy White, played for the Atlanta Falcons, got pulled over at a traffic stop. Now, he got pulled over, and he said he was fearful. Let's take a look at this and see what he was fearful of.
So I said, on a routine traffic stop for a speeding ticket, it's protocol for you to get out of your car and put your hand on your weapon and come walk to someone's car. And he told me, yeah, that's police protocol. So I was like, are you serious? And he was like, no, that's my protocol. That's what I do as a police officer.
Let me explain. There's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. And any police officer approaching a car with someone they don't know is going to do the exact same thing. This guy is a fool if he was afraid because of that. Because once you have a conversation with somebody, they calm down. When I get pulled over, all the windows in my truck go down. My hands go on the side of the car. If it's at night, I turn the interior lights on. I want the officers to be able to see that I'm a safe person to deal with. They then calm down, but they're going to be they're going to be a little on guard when they first approach any car. No such thing as a routine traffic stop. In a moment, St. Vincent de Paul, the good people from St. Vincent de Paul join us for a 2-segment interview. You are going to love what work they're doing here in the community. It's going to surprise you and how you can get involved. Don't go away. We'll be back in a moment. Before we get there, let me talk about my good friends at Zero Res. Now, Zero Res this time of year realizes that you may want to get your carpets cleaned a little bit more now. They're going to be busier because this time of year, before or after the holidays, you're going to get it done. They've expanded their staff. The empowered water I talk about, it cleans just like soaps and chemicals without the harsh effects. Your carpets dry faster. They stay cleaner longer. You want your carpets cleaned the right way? Do it with Zero Res. Make sure you call them to get on their schedule. They're the best at what they do with a product that's second to none. We'll be back in a moment. You know, this is the time of year when we start thinking about giving. Here we are, post-election, trying to recover from the adversity. But now we talk about giving, and when I think about giving, there's no place I think about more in Arizona than St. Vincent de Paul. So Shannon is here. First of all, thanks for coming again.
No, thank you for having me.
It's got to be such a busy time of year for you.
It's a busy time, but it's just the best time of the year, right?
I rave about St. Vincent de Paul because after visiting you and watching the attention to detail with everything that you do, I just love that place and how you serve the community in so many different ways. So let's start there. Biggest commercial kitchen in the state of Arizona is where?
Right at St. Vincent de Paul.
How many meals a day?
4,500 meals a day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, holidays, every day.
And what's amazing about that is you would think that you would have that number on a billboard somewhere trying to promote what you do, and you do it so quietly, but it is such a service to the community. The family dining room and the experience for families to come in and feel like they're going out to dinner somewhere, all of those things are just amazing things you do in the community.
Well, and I think we're able to do that because of all the volunteers. So, you know, you have volunteers in your kitchen, you have volunteers in the family dining room, they're the waiters, they're the people that are helping kids with their homework, and what happens in all that is you're building relationships with each other. So people come, I saw someone today, met just joyful. I get to come to St. Vincent de Paul, share my time, and they boost us, you know, every day. All the people serving.
To walk through the facility, to start in where the homeless ministry begins, and to see how many different ways you're serving that community, and in unique ways with clothing and haircuts, and it's amazing to me to see how long has it taken St. Vincent de Paul to develop and realize there's just different areas where you can be helpful.
Well, St. Vincent de Paul has been in this community for over 70 years. Yeah. We celebrated 70th anniversary this year, and I think it's really set up. They say there's no act of charity that's foreign to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. So it's looking at people, one-to-one, in that relationship and trying to figure out where are they and how can we walk with them on that journey to wherever they're going. And so some of those services open up, for example, buying bus tickets for people who are homeless here but could go home across the country somewhere else where a family would take them in. That's something that we can do. And that just comes out of really getting to know people and understanding where they are and what their needs are so that we can find a way to help them move forward.
And I grew up in the St. Vincent de Paul store in my hometown, so I was familiar with St. Vincent de Paul, but it is such a unique experience here with the different stores in town and the ways you're serving communities across. It's a big valley, and you are really valley-wide, aren't you?
Absolutely. Well, actually, all throughout central and northern Arizona. So we have our stores. People sometimes see our trucks driving around, picking up their things and taking it to the stores. We have dining rooms. We have a clinic. We have shelter. Right now, we're running a temporary shelter on the floor of our dining room to take care of people who have nowhere else to go. So there's a whole lot going on. Again, only because of the generosity of this community, both with their time and their resources to help us help others every day.
Is there a bigger need, or do you find that people are looking for shelter more in the winter here when it gets cold, or in the summer when it's so hot, or is it just kind of equal?
You know, I think the issue with homelessness in our community, like in many big cities across the country, has increased for a lot of reasons. Our rents have gone up. There's more things going on for people. And I think we all see in the community when we go to a corner or we stop for a light, and there just seems like there's more people than ever. We're trying to do what we can and collaborate with all the service providers to serve people, but we're still looking for more beds, looking to try to help people move forward with their lives.
So do you have, you do so many events throughout the weeks and the years. Are there events that are special to you or that you like the most, or is it just because it's got to be such hard work for you putting these things together?
Well, you know, I think it's funny. People say, well, that must just be such depressing work. All you see are people in need. And some of their stories, they are very sad. You know, sometimes you hear stories and I think, I don't know how I could get up, when you hear the series of events that have sort of taken somebody to where they are. But what we see at St. Vincent de Paul really is the beauty in that, because it's very much about, we say we feed, clothe, house, heal. But we do that in a very one-to-one way, in a very personal way. And when you get to know people and you walk with them, you see that joy in that work. As volunteers come, they're sharing their love and kindness and compassion. And that really is the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. It's not a building, it's not a place, it's just the whole community that comes together and says, we're gonna care for people who are struggling. We're gonna be that family. Maybe they don't have a family, or maybe for just that moment they need somebody to embrace them, and that's what our volunteers do.
It's honest dignity that you treat people with, and you sometimes couldn't tell the difference between someone who is there that's getting a need filled or people that are there filling the needs, and it's a conversation, like you said, it's meeting people where they are. We got to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk about some of the events that are happening here for the holidays, where I know there's a big need for families to feed families, but also the Palomino event that I'm going to be a part of, to give people an idea of some of the unique things you're doing in the community. So we're going to take a quick pause. When we get back, we're going to talk about some of the unique things they're doing and give you an opportunity to jump on board if you can, if you'd like to, with St. Vincent de Paul and filling some of those needs. So we'll be back in a moment. We were talking about your opportunity to help in St. Vincent de Paul and the great things they're doing here in the Valley, and the Palomino sale. Describe what that is.
So our Bell Road thrift store is right around the corner from Palomino School. And for the last probably 20 years, 25 years, we've been inviting the kids to the store. They each bring $1, and they can come and buy 2 gifts in the store. Anything in the store. So, we try to put extra toys and we try to put extra special things in there in addition to the normal items that we have. And they can walk around and they can choose gifts for their family members or whoever they want to buy for. And the only rule is they have to be able to carry it out themselves, and they go back to the school and they wrap them. And it's probably one of the most special mornings of the year. To see the excitement of the kids as they're lined up waiting to get inside, and then the doors open, and you'd think it would be something where they were going to go choose toys or choose things for themselves, but it really is that joy of giving, and it's amazing to see how excited they are to be able to choose something special that maybe they wouldn't be able to go shopping, and then they take that back and wrap it, and that's the gift. So to hear some of those is amazing. You
shared a couple of stories with me. Can you share any of those, of what some of these kids have said to you about who they're buying for and what they're buying?
Sure. Well, and actually some of them are hilarious. They'll say, my little brother really loves Legos, and so this is, and they'll open their bags so that you can see. And some of them are really touching, where you see, it's kids who are struggling, who may not otherwise be able to go shopping. And one little boy, he was carrying a fan, an oscillating fan. It was something someone had donated to us, and it was in the store. And when I asked him, "Oh, who are you buying that for?" And he said, "My mom, because she's going through chemotherapy and she gets hot, and I'm hopeful this will help her feel cool." And so it's just, we all have, including these kids, such deep capacity for generosity and giving, and it's trying to get out. And I feel that that's what we're blessed at St. Vincent de Paul to be around, with all the volunteers that we have, all the donors that make the work possible. You know, they're giving that little boy a chance to be a giver and to feel that joy in showing his love for a member of his family.
How old are these kids?
It's an elementary school, so they come in like
young.
kindergarten through 8th grade. Yeah, and to see their excitement, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
And to be so thoughtful. You know, what a thoughtful gift that, you know, my mom gets hot because of the chemotherapy. It's got to touch, it's got to be one of the most touching days. I can't wait to be there.
It
for
is.
that
It's
event.
fun. You get to be an elf for the day, and you just get to help the kids find, you know, something special for their family. Who doesn't want to be part of that?
This is the time of year that people tend to think more about giving because we start to take inventory in our own lives. What is the need, the bigger needs for St. Vincent de Paul this time of year? And if people want to be on board, what are some of the things they can do to jump on board?
People can always help us with food drives. I mean, we give out thousands and thousands and thousands of food boxes every year. We make, you know, millions of meals in our kitchen. They can do food drives. They can come and volunteer with us. And really, one way that they can help is they can donate. We have a tax credit opportunity in the state of Arizona where singles can donate up to $400. It's doubled this year. And couples filing jointly can donate up to $800. And they get that right back when they file their taxes.
So it's a dollar for dollar tax credit.
It's a dollar for dollar. It's not a deduction. That's
Right.
You still can take a federal deduction,
Right.
but you get it right back. So if you get a refund, your refund will be that much bigger. If you owe a tax liability, it will come down that amount. It's really a wonderful gift from the state of Arizona where we allow each of us as taxpayers to sort of designate a part of our taxes that we pay to something that we care about. And in this case, it helps us feed, clothe, house, and heal the community all year long. And I think sometimes we forget that we don't have any kind of revenue stream like that. You know, our revenue stream is the generosity of people in this community. And it says something, I think, that we're the largest St. Vincent de Paul in the whole country. And that's really because of the generosity of this community, where people say, we want to take care of people who are struggling. We want to know that people have a place to go for housing, or that we're going to keep people in their homes, or that we're going to give a little boy a chance to buy a gift, you know, for Christmas.
Can you explain the family dining room? We talked about it a little earlier, but explain how that works for the families that come in for meals.
Yeah, our family dining room is run not like a soup kitchen, whatever images people have in their mind. It's run like a restaurant. So we use volunteers as wait staff. If people would come in, they would see tablecloths on the table. There would be little menus, limited. We usually only have a couple of choices, but the family can come in, sit together at a table. They choose what they want to have on the menu, and the volunteers will bring the food back to their table and deliver it just like in a restaurant. And then when the kids are finished eating, they can go be part of our Dream Center, which is this wonderful place where they can get help with their homework, where we do science activities. And we had somebody doing a 3D printer demo with them a week ago. And there's just there's so much joy there. We invite anyone to come and be part of it as a volunteer and join us in it.
You've got to go to the website and see what they're doing, and go and take a tour of the facility. If you're looking for a worthy organization to donate to this year, I can promise you there is no more worthy organization than St. Vincent de Paul. For the work you do throughout the year, I say thank you, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
No, thank you, Mike. We're so grateful.
We'll be back. Welcome back. It's time for one of my favorite parts of the show. We call it From Arizona for America. It's our way to congratulate and thank the fine Arizona men and women who have recently graduated from boot camp and are now serving in our country's military. So please join me in honoring Airman Jeremy Broyles from Millennium High School in Glendale, Private Timothy Rogan from Coronado High School in Scottsdale, and National Guard Airman Brian Frost from Canyon del Oro High School in Tucson. For a list of more of our friends and neighbors that are from Arizona for America, go to the Mike Broomhead page at aztv.com. We'll be back in a minute with Broomhead's Best and #this. Don't go away. Time for the best part of the show. I call it Broomhead's Best. The Arizona Coyotes are staying. They're building a new arena, and it's going to be on the northwest corner of Rio Salado Parkway and McClintock on the old Karsten Golf Course, which was the back nine. That is a great news that they are going to be right here in the Valley. They're Broomhead's best. Now what's burning up the internet? We call it #this. #Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono released a video of her reaction to the Trump presidency. I thought, what could she possibly have to say that I would play on the air? Watch this. Take it. You got to stop. I mean, what the hell was John Lennon thinking? I mean, come on. That was her reaction. There's about another 50 seconds of it that I spared you. You don't have to watch anymore if you don't want to, but you go see it online. It's going to blow your mind. That is her reaction to Donald Trump being elected president. That's this week's #this, #Yoko Ono. We'll be back to close out the show here in just a couple of moments. Stick around. You're going to want to see what's next. Big thank you to Shannon from St. Vincent de Paul for joining us. We're going to be off next week for the Thanksgiving holiday, so I hope you are taking inventory and you're thankful for all the great things in your life. I've got so much to be thankful for. We'll be back in 2 weeks doing another show that will get going on what's going on in the election and everything else. So have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and God bless.
Get more of Mike Broomhead on Facebook, Twitter, and of course weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on News Talk 550 KFYI.